All praise, all praise to the Most High God, whose true name is Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. All right, we see the topic. We see the title of this video is "Why Do Black People Think They're Muslim?" So, what we're gonna do today, it's gonna be a short video. We're gonna get into some things, some historical things about Islam, how it came in here to the Americas, and why do Black people follow Islam today. So, let me share my screen. It's important to know why people think that they're Muslim, and our people don't know, right? So, how did Islam come to America? It's a quick, like, anybody can look up this kind of information. We don't have to be ignorant in the things that we're involved in. We got smartphones, the technology that we got could get us the information so much faster than our ancestors took to get information. So just by looking up how did Islam come to America, right? It says Islam arrived in North America through several waves of migration and the transatlantic slave trade. The first documented Muslims arrived as part of colonial expeditions, notably Estevancio Estevanico of Azamor in 1527. Right. Later, enslaved Africans, some of whom were Muslim, were brought to the Americas. So now, let's get into this bull here. Right. Remember, there was enslaved Africans who were Muslim that came over here to the Americas. But we're going to prove that these Africans weren't always Muslim. This was something that was brought upon them. So first, let's deal with Estevanico. Estevanico, right? Estevanico, known as, I'm going to hurry this up because I got a phone call I got to attend. Let me call you right back in like 20 minutes. That's cool? All right, sure. All right. So it says Estevanico, also known as Mustafa Azemori, right? Whatever his name is, right? Was the first person of African descent to explore North America. He was one of the last four survivors of Narvaez expedition, along with Alvar, right? These are the people he was with. So little is known about him. But contemporary accounts described him as a Negro, right? He was a Negro or Arabic speaking black man. That's like a Greek speaking Jew. The Jews weren't Greek, but they were speaking Greek, right? It says in 1522, he was sold as a slave to the Spanish nobleman. So this is the first documented account that we see some Islam coming to the Americas. It says it here, like the Spanish didn't even allow anybody to ride with them unless they was Catholic or Christian. So he had to convert to being a Catholic. Let me see if I see it real quick. Um, Here we go. It says it is unclear right here whether he was raised Muslim, but Spain did not allow non-Catholics to travel to New Spain. So he would have been baptized as a Catholic in order to join the expedition. So this is where he got his Christian name from, right? So let's see. Did Estevanico teach Islam in America? While Estevanico, also known as Stephen the Moor, was a Muslim who explored North America in the 16th century, there's no definitive evidence to suggest he actively taught or promoted Islam during his travels. So there's no proof or indication that the first documented Muslim in America actually taught it. And he was a slave. He was a slave. Look, it says that he was Arabized, like Christianized. It's the same thing. It tells us here that he was rocking with the Native Indians. Him and the Native Indians escaped slavery, right? So it says Islam arrived in North America through several waves of migration in the transatlantic slave trade. The first documented Muslims arrived as part of colonial expeditions, notably Estevanico in 1527. This is the 15th century. So what happened prior to the 15th century, right? Let me see. What was prior to that? So prior to the 15th century, we have something called the Middle Ages. The Middle Ages is a medieval period, historical period in Europe, generally spanning from the 5th to the 15th centuries. It began with the fall of the Western Roman Empire and transitioned into the Renaissance and the Age of Discovery. The Renaissance is the rise of the Roman Empire, right? So, in between this fall of the Roman Empire, this is when we see this black man being Arabized, and we're going to get into that. So, we got sub-Saharan slave trade. The term sub-Saharan slave trade can refer to two distinct but interconnected historical phenomena. So the sub-Saharan slave trade during the Dark Ages, right? The trans-Saharan slave trade, also known as the Arab-Muslim slave trade, was a significant aspect of the history of sub-Saharan Africa and North Africa, spanning from the antiquity through the Middle Ages and into the early modern period. It involved the capture and transportation of millions of Africans, primarily from the Sudanic regions and areas in the south, northwest across the Sahara Desert. So, right, we see that Islam was spread during this event. Let me see something. So, look at this. Watch this. It says the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages Muslim conquest refers to a period of rapid extension by Muslim armies after the death of Muhammad. So this is what happened. We had the Muslim conquest during these Middle Ages before the 15th century when Christopher Columbus and the Spaniards, all these European countries came over here to the Americas. So this is why this black man was a Muslim. He was forced to be a Muslim. Now look at this. I don't want to jump ahead. Let me go back over here. Right. Let's not jump ahead. And let's look up this sub-Saharan slave trade. It says the term sub-Saharan slave trade can refer to two distinct but interconnected historical phenomena. The trans-Saharan slave trade, this refers to an enslavement and forced transportation of people, primarily from sub-Saharan Africa across the Saharan Desert to North Africa, the Middle East, and parts of Europe. Right now, the role of the sub-Saharan slave Africa in the transatlantic slave trade. Sub-Saharan Africa was a primary source of enslaved people for the transatlantic slave trade, which forcibly transported millions of Africans to the Americas from the 16th to the 19th century. So the reason why we see this black man coming to the Americas is just because he was forced over here, coming out of this sub-Saharan slave trade, which forced blacks and Africans into slavery and forced them to convert to Islam, just like how when the Europeans came to the Americas, the blacks and indigenous people were being forced to convert to Christianity and Catholicism. So like it's like why are so-called blacks Muslim today? You know what I mean? So it says while Muslim conquest did play a role in the spread of Islam, right? It did, particularly in North Africa. The introduction of Islam into sub-Saharan cultures was primarily a result of trade and cultural exchange. Blacks were exchanging their culture to follow the culture of the Arabs. It says not forced conversion through conquest, but it was. It's going to look Ghana. Key kingdoms and empires. Ghana. This is where a lot of the so-called Negroes, African Americans, colors come from through the transatlantic slave trade, like Jamaicans, Haitians, African Americans. So we see Islam being forced on our people. Now watch this. Let's show how early Islam felt about black people. This verse, we're going to start here now. This is the Tafsir. Look, the Tafsirs. Right? So this is where we at. We at Surah 9 at Tabah, verse number 62. This is the original Arabic. So it says, this verse was revealed about one hypocrite who named is Nabtal ibn al-Harith. This man was a dark-skinned, red-eyed, burned in the cheeks and deformed. It is this man about whom the Prophet Allah, his God can bless him and give him peace, said, whoever wants to look at the devil, let him look at Nabtal ibn al-Harith. So Muhammad was calling black people the devil. That's how he felt about them. Now, who was Muhammad? Like, what was he? Right? So we in Sahih Muslim, the book of the virtues. This is Sahih Muslim 2343, and Sunnah.com. This is where the hadith is. It says, I saw Allah's messenger that he had white complexion. He was a white man. He was a white man. Right? So now, let's go back here. Let me show you how Islam is a white man's religion. It's an Arab's religion. It is. But the white man brought Islam to the black man. And watch this. It says, later enslaved Africans, some of whom were Muslim, were brought to the Americas. Immigration from the Middle East, South Asia, and Africa increased significantly from the 19th century onwards. The Nation of Islam and other black Muslim movements also played a role in the history of Islam in America. So now we see the first documented Muslim coming in as a black man was Estevaniko, but he wasn't teaching that. The Nation of Islam was the first to start teaching Islam to the black community. Watch this. All right. So Nation of Islam is an African American political and religious movement that combines elements. Hold on real quick. Come in. Shalom, King. Yeah, Baraka Bashi Masha. Shalom, King. Good to see you, bro. I'm good.
That's good. Sorry we haven't been here in a while. It's been a lot of things with our car.
All praise, man. Good to see you, King. All praises. I'm going to do this lesson. I'm going to come holler at you. All right, shalom. All right, it says, the Nation of Islam, NOI, is African American political and religious movement that combines elements of traditional Islam with black nationalism and racial separatism. So origins and founders. Founded in Detroit, Michigan in the 1930s, where the Nation of Islam was founded, when we started seeing Islam being, influence to the black community. It says by Wallace Fard Muhammad. Look at this guy. Damn white man. This is who was teaching. This is who was teaching the black community. And let's see what he was teaching. It says Wallace Fard Muhammad, or W.D. Fard, reportedly born, whatever, disappeared, whatever, was the founder of the Nation of Islam. This is the founder of the Muslim movement here in the African American community. It says he arrived in Detroit in 1930 with an ambiguous background and several aliases, and proselytized syncretic Islam teachings into the city's black population. His group taught followers to abandon their old slave names in favor of new names that were bestowed upon new members. Fard's movement similarly taught black pride and black exceptionalism, saying that the black man is the original man and teaching that the white race were devils. So he was saying some truth, like the white man being the devil, but like putting this, like, this is a white man. He's a devil. And this is who's teaching the black community, using Islam to say that the black man is the original man. But Islam isn't the original way of following God, right? So watch this. We got Elijah Muhammad somewhere. Elijah Muhammad succeeded Fard as the leader of the nation of Islam, right? So now, why did Malcolm X think he was a Muslim? Malcolm X converted to Islam while in prison after being exposed to the teachings of the Nation of Islam. Because a lot of our community, the black community, think that they're Muslims and Islam is the way of the black man because of Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X played a big part in influencing this into the communities, right? It says Malcolm X converted to Islam while in prison, which make, as most black men. After being exposed to the teachings of the Nation of Islam, a black nationalist movement. This is a black nationalist movement that was put into the black community by a white man that combined Islam with black pride and black nationalism. This is a crafty counsel. He initially joined the Nation of Islam and his leader, Elijah Muhammad, right, believing in their message of black reliance and separation from white society. Later, while in prison, he learned more about Islam and the teachings of the Nation of Islam. So look at this. So I think he became, like, it was like the 60s, 1963. Yeah, after pilgrimage to Mecca in 63. So it was like in the 60s, Malcolm X was teaching this. And he left the Nation of Islam because he found out white people can take their shahada and that's their brother. So it was contradicting. You know what I mean? Like, he left that. Watch this. Elijah Muhammad was an American religious leader, black separatist, and self-proclaimed messenger of Allah who led the Nation of Islam from 1933 until his death. Elijah Muhammad was also the teacher and mentor of Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan, Muhammad Ali, and his sons, right, Warith Deen Muhammad. In the 1930s, Muhammad formally established the Nation of Islam, a religious movement that originated under the leadership and teachings of Fard Muhammad that promoted black power. Like, we didn't need Fard. Like, that's what y'all needed. Y'all needed Fard Muhammad. Yeah. Y'all needed this guy to do this for your community. You didn't. You needed God, but that's not the way, man. So watch this. Yes, the Nation of Islam believes that Fard Muhammad was the Messiah. They believe that Fard Muhammad, this white man, where he at, was the Messiah. They also believe that Fard Muhammad was a divine incarnation, a mortal God named Allah. That's heavy, man. Yo, you blacks and you Hispanics caught up in this Islam, man. Forget everybody else. This was a crafty counsel put onto y'all. It was to keep you far from God, man. Islam was put in your community to take you away from your true power. It didn't work with Malcolm X. It didn't work for him, man. It didn't work. Muhammad Ali fought his whole life. And for the rest of his life that he wasn't fighting, he couldn't even speak, man. This was a curse from God. They thought that this man was Allah. This is your religion. This is the origins of the Muslim religion in the black community. no matter if it's significantly, this differs significantly from traditional Islamic beliefs, right? Which consider Muhammad to be the final prophet. But regardless if you believe it or not, this is what the Nation of Islam believes. This is what the foundation of Islam and the black community believes in. Do I got anything else, man? I guess I could. Let me go to something. Let me go to Surah 2. I'm gonna go to Surah 2 and 40. Because I'm sure Muslims gonna look at this. I mean, that's what we want. We want you to think about this. Look into it. I mean, look in what you believe in. Because a lot of the black community, we in the streets all the time teaching. And the black community knows nothing about Islam or the Quran. So it says, O children of Israel, remember my favor which I bestowed upon you. Allah has a favorite people. Now, what we get contention with is that they used to be the favorite, or they were the favorite in that time. But if that was true, like, okay, they used to be the favorite, they weren't a favorite of that time. So when weren't they the favorite? When did they stop being the favorite? When they broke the covenant. Okay. When they broke the covenant, was it before or after Muhammad? It was before Muhammad. Okay. So why is Jabril revealing to Muhammad to give this message to the children of Israel to have them remember that they still the favorite? Why remember? Why not say you used to be my favorite, but you're not no more because you broke the covenant? But what it says is, O children of Israel, remember my favors upon you. Fulfill your covenant, and I will fulfill mine, and stand in awe of me alone. It's telling them to keep the covenant. Now, watch this. Favors, right? Allah did a favor for the children of Israel. He didn't choose them to be the favorite. So in Surah 2 and 144, 122, watch this. We're going to see. Surah 2 and 122, it says, O children of Israel, remember my favors upon you and how I honored you above the others. You favored them. Allah favored the children of Israel and respected them above the other people. Right? So now, let's go to Google. Now let me show you something. Even the Quran, because the Quran came to confirm something. It came to confirm the Torah, the Psalms, the Prophets, and the Injil. So if the Torah, the original book, the original message from Allah or God was sent down to Moses in the Torah, then, and if it was corrupted, then why is the Quran confirming it? Let's go back there. Let's go to back to 2 and 40. Let's go back to Surah 2 and 40 and 41. Salakia. Usually I got a Quran in my hand and I just flip through it. You know what I mean? And I don't even usually go live, but we got to. So Surah 2 and 41, believe in my revelations which confirm your scriptures. It doesn't say corrects your scriptures. It doesn't say came down because your scriptures were corrupted. It says, believe in my revelations which confirms your scriptures. Do not be the first to deny them or trade them for a fleeting gain. Now, what is the covenant, right? So let me go here. Ten commandments. Watch this. It should be Exodus 34 and 28. Okay. Watch this. Exodus 30. What is the covenant? Exodus 34 and 28. And he was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. This is the Torah. This is the book of Moses, Exodus. It says, and he was there with the Lord, Moses was, 40 days and 40 nights, and did neither eat bread nor drink water, and he wrote upon the tables the words of the covenant, the Ten Commandments. And that was just the Ten Commandments. He was given more. It's more than 10. I mean, now watch this. So the covenant is the law. It's the decision. That's what the commandments are, decisions of God. So let's go back. Let's go to Surah 5. Al-Ma'idah. And we're gonna go to 40. We'll go to 42 because a lot of Muslims were like, oh, you gotta read in context. You mean it really sounds like the same Christian rhetoric. But 42, it says, they eagerly listen to falsehood. And this is for the Israelites. They eagerly listen to falsehood. What y'all listen to is whatever sounds good. Like Islam is falsehood and consume forbidden gain. So if they come to you, O Prophet, either judge between them or turn away from them. This is what Jibril telling them to do. You can judge between them or turn away from them. If you turn away from them, they cannot harm you whatsoever. Like Jibril was giving him a warning. Listen, man, you better turn away from them. If they do, then they won't whip your ass. But if Allah was protecting Muhammad, then he wouldn't have that to worry about. If he had a real truth, then he wouldn't have that to worry about. But if you judge between them, then do so with justice. He's giving him like, you got to do this with justice. Surely Allah loves those who are just. So Allah don't love everybody. But why do they come to you? Why do they go to Muhammad for judgment when they already have the Torah containing Allah's judgment? Then they turn away. After all, they are not true believers. So according to the Quran, there's a people on this earth today that are the favorite of Allah that are under a covenant. You so-called Negroes are the real Jews. You blacks are the real Jews. And you are under a covenant. The Shahada does not make the covenant null and void. The covenant is still here. You have to keep that covenant. And this covenant is the Torah, the commandments. And these are the judgments if you keep the commandments and if you don't keep the commandments. And the noble is going to say these are the decisions of Allah. You don't follow Fard Muhammad. You follow God. And the way you follow God is by keeping the Torah. It says, indeed, we reveal the Torah containing guidance and light by which the prophets look. We revealed the Torah containing guidance and light. The Quran is letting us know where the guidance and light is. If you want to be guided correctly, if you want to walk in light and not darkness, then you have to follow the Torah. It don't say the Quran. Now, these Arabs didn't believe. They didn't believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But Muhammad came to basically tell the Arabs that, we confirm in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That is the true God. But that doesn't even mean God dealing with them. It says the Torah is containing guidance and light. The Arabs wasn't given that. This was given to the children of Israel, by which the prophets who submitted themselves to Allah made judgments for the Jews. This Torah contains the judgments. And this is how we submit to Allah according to the Quran. You're not submitting yourself to Allah if you're not following the Torah. So too did the rabbis and scholars judge according to Allah's book. Allah's book. Now, if you're going to say that Allah's book, which is the Torah, was corrupted, then you're saying that you as a Muslim are committing shirk al-akbar. You're putting another in association with Allah. Now, this Quran isn't Allah's book. This Quran was Muhammad speaking and somebody writing down and said that he was getting these revelations from Angel Jibril. But these revelations wasn't given from Allah. What Moses got was directly from Allah. These are thus saith the Lord. So if you're trying to say that Allah's words can be corrupted, but Muhammad's won't, then you are committing shirk al-akbar. So did too, according to Allah's book, with which they entrusted which it says with which they were entrusted and of which they were made keepers. Why are they keepers of this if it's going to be corrupted? There's things, we got Johannine comma, we got Easter added to the Bible. There's things that's been there, but the only people that's looking for these errors and looking for the truth of this and defending the gospel are the children of Israel. They defend the Torah. And we do that in the streets, not in no masjid or no Christian church. We do this because God has entrusted the children of Israel with his book, right? It says, and those who do not judge by what Allah has revealed are truly the disbelievers. And, the Muslim understanding is nobody can judge me but Allah. But according to the Quran, those who do not judge by what Allah revealed are truly the disbelievers. Now watch this. I'm going to go to 67. This Surah 5 and 67. It says, O messenger, convey everything revealed to you from your Lord. So if Muhammad got this revelation, he's conveying everything that was revealed to him or reciting everything that was revealed to him. O children of Israel, remember that you're my favorite and keep my covenant. It doesn't make sense if you're going to say that the covenant was broken from the children of Israel. It doesn't make sense if you're going to say that the Torah and Injil and the prophets was corrupted if he's saying I'm confirming it. And if it was at that time, show me a time when it changed. He was the last prophet, according to Islam. And according to what your prophet is saying, is that we're confirming what that Torah says. What else he said? If you do not, then you have not delivered his message. Allah will certainly protect you from the people. Indeed, Allah does not guide the people who disbelieve. It says, say, O prophet, O people of the book, this is the children of Israel. You have nothing to stand on unless you observe the Torah. You got nothing to stand on, man. And the gospel. And what has been revealed to you from your Lord. And your Lord's revelations to you will only cause many of them to increase in wickedness, right? And your Lord's revelations to you, O Prophet Muhammad, will only cause them to increase in wickedness and disbelief. Yeah, that's crazy because Islam was brought to Muhammad and he brought it and it only increased the black community in wickedness and disbelief. That's crazy. Y'all got to keep this. Y'all are nothing, man. You have nothing unless you stand on and observe this Torah. It's real, man. There's prophecies in this book that has not came to pass yet. Let me take a look at this. Yeah, all praises to the Most High. So this is what I wanted to show. I got into some information about this Fard Muhammad, bringing Islam to the black community. This is why we have Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali, so consistent in teaching this in our community. And it was all brought to them by a white man, and Muhammad is a white man. And so who are the children of Israel? Let me show y'all one more thing. Salaki. So now, let me go to Acts chapter 13. Now, it's so much more to go to, like, to prove who the Israelites are. But this right here is important. It says, now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called, it looks like Niger, right? So let's go to tools, go to interlinear. And y'all be like, oh, y'all reading the King James Bible, right? Hold on, I'm doing something. All praises. So this here is a Textus Receptus. This is the original transcript that we have of the New Testament. So we go down and that was called, looks like Niger. So we're going to click here. I'm sure that, you know what, because I don't think it's. Last time I went live and I did that, it didn't play, but I know y'all can hear my voice. So I'm gonna play it off of my phone, right? This is let me go to here to make sure I'm showing y'all. All right, this is Acts 13:1. So we're gonna click here. We're gonna go to this word slot. Let me do this because y'all see me small here. All right. All right, so that's Niger, right? It's like Niger, right? Pronunciation. Now watch this.
Strong's G 3526. Niger.
Now these what the prophets was called, right? Now who are the prophets? So watch this. Surah 45. Surah 45. I don't know why I did that. I'm going to just do 45 and 16 because I don't got to read the whole thing. It says, and indeed we gave the children of Israel wisdom and prophethood. The prophethood. So the prophets that was teaching was called niggas in the Bible. Now look at this. Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me switch this over again. All right. So let's go back here. This is Surah 45 and 16. It says, and indeed we gave the children of Israel the scripture, wisdom, and prophethood, and granted them good lawful provisions and favored them above the others again, right? But when we go back, so here, it says, now they wanted the church that was at Antioch, certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas, prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called niggas in this Bible. Now watch this. I'm going to go to another translation so that we can get a better understanding of what this word nigga is, right? Among the prophets and teachers of the church at Antioch of Syria were Barnabas Simeon, called the black men. The same black men that Muhammad said was the devil. Where he at? Right here. It said, whoever wants to look at the devil, look, he said, this man was dark-skinned, red-eyed, burned with cheeks, and deformed. It is this man about whom the prophet Allah, curse him and give him peace and destruction, said, whoever wants to look at the devil, look at Nabtal ibn al-Harith. This ain't your religion, man. This ain't your God. It's not how you serve God. It's by taking your shahada. You serve God by keeping the covenant. I mean, I felt as though this was important to bring out. All praise to the Most High, that the Most High put the Spirit on me and gave me this direction to go on. So, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man, keep this covenant. Turn back to the Lord before it's too late. Times is coming that you ain't never seen before. And if you don't call on the Lord now, He's going to make you call on Him when He start taking the things that you love. So with that, call Thawadaf, La Yahweh Shema Mashiach Yahushai. It's all praises, honor, and glory to the Lord God, the Most High God, whose true name is Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Mawafla Babal.